January Journal 2021. Log entry day 4. Gratitude. Despite not being able to sleep properly last night, I still woke up in time to do this. Maybe I don't have the stamina that I wanted to have, and maybe I woke up a little late and I am afraid of the noises of the day to begin before I end this recording, but I'm here and I'm doing it and I'm thankful for that. Hopefully I can keep up. There were still answers to yesterday's transmission and the transmissions before that. People are finding these things and I am thankful. All the feedback is welcome. Thank you very much for being here, everybody. I was not expecting that. And I'm thankful for being alive another day. Sometimes it's difficult for me to find something special to be grateful for, but when I don't find anything else, I have to remember, hey, I am alive. I can do something else today. I'm here. And I should be grateful for that. How did I create my characters? Well, for this novel in particular, because I have another character who was completely different and had another process, and I will talk about her in a future entry, not now. My focus for character creation will be on my sci-fi novel, because at this particular time in the log entries I'm talking about my sci-fi novel. And so the main character, Tibor, is based on someone I know, kind of, but with variations and changes, of course. Now, if there is someone out there who is just like the Tibor in the book, hey, dude, I don't know you and it's just a coincidence, don't sue me. So what are the changes? Well, as far as I know, the person that was the inspiration for Tibor, as far as I know, doesn't speak Russian. Dude, if you speak Russian and you have not told me yet, well, I need some beta reader who can help me with grammar. Hey, you're welcome. Just the addition of another language would make a change because each language is different and it will influence a person's psyche and the way that they communicate or don't communicate. Every culture is different, and no, Tibor is not Russian. He's adopted by a Russian man, so this is why he speaks English, Russian, a little bit of Icelandic because of his aunt. I will talk about her a little bit later, but it is not the same to write a character from a big city like California, for example, than writing a character who's growing up in a space station under the care of a Russian man. It's really not the same. There will be variations in speech patterns. There will be some reaction styles that are not the same, cultural differences. The lack of a cultural influence, because again, he was born and raised in a tin can in space, and it's notorious that he knows things. He is knowledgeable of what's down there on Earth, but it's a textbook knowledge. It's not real knowledge. He has not been to those places, and it will show in some cases. He has some knowledge and then not so much knowledge about more nuanced things, and he's a young boy and he's still an outsider. So this adds up to the I am an outsider perspective, not just that he grew up in space. He also speaks a language that, his father speaks, but not many other people aboard the station speak. There will be some somewhere, but not in his direct circle of contact. So just a minor thing like addition of a new language can change your character completely. And that's a thing that I pay a lot of attention to because I care about diversity in the cultural aspect as well as other things, and so language is a thing, and I have to pay attention to all the characters who speak another language and how this would influence their behavior and personalities in some way or another. I'm not saying that all the cultures are a monolith, but it is an addition to the already created character profile that I make in my mind. I don't do anything physical. I don't do charts. I don't do aesthetics. I don't do any of those because I'm blind. I think just in my mind. There is another character. Her name is Salome, and she was also based in someone I know in real life. I think I mentioned it to her, like, hey, you have inspired one of my characters. I hope she doesn't mind. It's still not exactly traceable to her, so hopefully not. And she has some physical changes too. So she's not the same person and should not be. but I admit openly that she was inspired by a person I know who's very driven and focused and active and has a lot of stamina. And I'm like, wow, that's something I'm not, and I would love to be. Look at her. She's so active and so driven and so talented and so talented. That was one of the things that inspired Salome's character, because from all my crew, she's one of the most talented characters I have ever created. Again, make some tweaks and changes, but most of the major characters come from someone I know in real life, or a blend of more than one person, and I put them together into one character. Tibor's adoptive father would be the case. He was definitely inspired by more than one person, more than one father, so to speak. And well, it's a very interesting combo. And then the Russian aspect is because I didn't want to have the nationality of any of those people from real life. And then when you change a nationality, you immediately make changes to the character and how, where do they come from? Is he from Moscow? Is he from a rural space? I talked about that in another video, so I will not go into details here. But yeah, I had to do a lot of research to create the character for Tibor's adoptive father. And so it goes on with every single character that shows up in my novel. They deserve care and attention. Maybe not as much as the major characters, but each and every one of them deserves it, because each and every one of these characters, despite how minor they might be, are supposedly real people. And since this is a very quiet book, then I have to make sure that the characters move the story forward, because I don't have a save the world, raise the stakes plot. I have to be careful with this, because if the characters appear cardboard copy, cartoonish, I will be in trouble. And my book will not be considered good enough. It will not work as a story. So I pay a lot of attention, and here is where, for example, I have already mentioned two male characters, Tibor and his father, and despite my strange voice in the morning, je suis femme, I'm a woman, I am a girl, my pronouns are she, her, I am not a non-binary case, just to make it clear that whoever is listening, I am a woman. So writing about a male character is not as easy as people think, and I appreciate and value immensely the feedback from guys when they get to see these characters that I'm creating, because I don't want to be one of those writers who is like the Gary Stu character or the brute and rude male that's only here for shitty stuff and treating people like crap and then banging some women because man. No, I don't want to be that kind of person. And I don't want to portray that kind of picture from my characters in my stories. I think that's something I want to steer clear from. So whenever I get feedback from men, it's very helpful, because then I can implement this knowledge of how this character would react, from a guy's perspective. And then it's up to me to fix the things where I failed, so to speak, or slipped, because that's a very feminine view, or that's a very womanly behavior thing. I haven't got that so far, but a good example I can bring up is that Tibor starts off with a very bad impression. The reader gets a terrible impression from him at first. I will talk about this in a future log entry, but yes, he starts with the wrong food. And as the book progresses, suddenly he becomes too good. The change was too soon. He was too nice, too soon. And that doesn't work for his character. And when a guy told me that, according to what he saw from the previous chapters, the beginning of the story, his reactions wouldn't be so cut clean, It wouldn't be that nice. And that was a piece of feedback that helped me a lot. So, creating characters, developing characters, improving your drafts, the dialogue, characterization, inner thoughts. In the case of sighted writers, body language, all those things. I cannot do body language, I'm blind. So I have to focus on all the other things to compensate for that. This is not easy. You are creating real people. I have to repeat that again. You are creating real people, not cartoons. So when I cannot be a proper observer, as I said, like body language, visual cues and nuances that I cannot see, I appreciate the input from external perspectives. And this is where people like you come into play. I am very thankful that you're here. Thank you for listening.